Hi guys, my name is James, aka Furry K, and I decided I'm gonna do a movie review. Okay, so I haven't seen this movie. Now, I know y'all are gonna kill me over this, but the current movie that I'm going to talk about is, it's popular worldwide, but critically it is not liked. Um, but I'm going to explain why I think that critics should do another review of this movie and go through it again. Okay, so the movie that I'm going to be covering is Venom. Okay, so Venom was a movie that came out in 2018 uh, under the design of Sony, who created the Spider-Man trilogies with what's his name playing Spider-Man. I'm trying to think of his name, but basically those are movies I grew up with. I was born in the early 2000s when those movies started coming out and everything like that. I saw all of them. I saw 3, sadly. And I thought even then the Venom was garbage because it made no sense. While some of it made sense, not all of it made sense. The scene in 3 where Brock gets the suit in the church made sense because it does happen in the comics. Another thing I would say is, now currently the status of it, since the last time I checked, I think was 32% on Rotten Tomatoes for Venom, and then I think an 80-something% for viewership by the fans. Now, I am a huge shipper of Eddie Brock and Venom, but we're not gonna talk about that. That's another video. Another thing about that is, here's what I think they did with the movie. Right. Okay. I think at this point, I think Sony should close up shop when it comes to making movies. Now, this is not to say Sony, hey, you're done movie-wise. They've made some good movies over the years. I believe in them. I really do. I believe in them. They made good movies. They had a time. Now their time's over. The problem is now Sony does not want to allow film. They do not want to create movies for the fans. They want to create movies so they can make money, just like EA does with their games. They don't want to do it, and then the fans get mad because there's no continuity when it comes to them. We saw this with Slender Man. When Slender Man came out, there was no continuity, there was no design, it was mostly just to make money off of the creepypasta, which there's pointlessly no money to be made in that. I was a huge creepypasta nerd back in the day. I grew up, I think it was my early 13 to 14, and I was a huge fan of Slenderman, I was a huge fan of Jeff, I was a huge fan of Clockwork, Jane the Killer, Masky Hoodie. I even watched the Marble Hornets earlier. I was a huge Marble Hornets nerd. I love that. I watched all the other ones too, which was cool. But another thing I have to say is Sony messed up when it came to Venom. While the creators of Venom did well, I think Sony did their part to really ruin it for them, because they didn't allow, from what I read or what I heard, there was supposed to be more to the movie than which than what was produced, or what was let out, I should say, or you know, let as the lyrics to that Eminem song would go, knock knock, let the devil in. They basically didn't let it in, you know. Um, Now, another thing I would say is with Venom, I would probably say there is no continuity at all. I do like that they kind of made Venom and Eddie like kind of like a Ren and Stimpy group, or Guy Pal group. I mean Guy Pal, friends or colleagues. Sorry, I'm sick. But I wish they had done more with it. They did use some of the I did like that they used some of the comics. They did use some of the parts from I think it's like Toxic Protector or something like that. That comic, they used She Venom. They used or the other one. But I wish they would have used Carnage. Now, I want to see a Carnage movie, but I want to see Carnage v Venom, you know? Because I liked Venom. I loved him. I loved Venom. I still like all the art and everything that everybody does for the community, for that, movie, like everybody did, like after the movie came out, and it was Eddie and Venom, fan art, and I appreciated that because, at least some people actually did like the movie. Now, I see Venom as a Polar Express effect. Now, if you guys don't know, or if you guys have never seen that movie, Polar Express was a movie that when it first came out was not very popular among among the Christmas movies of popularity. There were way more popular movies than Polar Express. But when re-looked at, a lot of people a few years later ended up loving the movie, ended up praising the movie for being a good movie, and eventually it got what it deserved. But we don't know if it's gonna get that again. I mean, with Venom, while the critics hated it, the fans loved it. I think it did basically pull Polar Express. But we'll just have to see if the critics are willing to look at it again to try and see if they messed up somewhere. Because I don't think, critics are critics. They'll be critics. I'm even a cynical person. I'm even opinionated about the movie a little bit. There are some continuity errors, but I will say there were good things that I saw about the movie that they did reference. At the beginning of the movie, that was in the comics, because I watched the old cartoons. They did do right about how the symbiotes, or however you call them. I know the British people call them symbiotes. I think the one thing they got right is how they got there. The ship ended up crashing as the pilots were bringing them to Earth, but I don't think it was. I don't know if it was the Life Foundation that actually did have them go into space and get them. I don't think it was that. Now, what I would like to see if they do make a sequel, I want to see galactic protectors or something like that. Or like where Venom is in space or whatever the heck it is, because that would be interesting. But that's my rant. I hope you guys liked the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Also don't forget to share it on Twitter. Also don't forget to share it on your social media. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.